the great London Beer Epidemic and the mystery of hops. Hello, Rooted RX fans. Dr. Maxwell here, back with another wild, weird, and wonderfully herbal medical mystery. Today, we're going all the way back to London, 1814. Picture it. Foggy streets, horse-drawn carriages clattering over cobblestones, and the scent of, well, beer everywhere. And then it happened people started falling ill after drinking beer. Not your average hangover. I'm talking fevers, hallucinations, and even seizures. Panic spread faster than a pub rumor. People blamed witches, brewers, maybe even the air itself. And somewhere in the background, hops were just minding their own business. So today, we're going to untangle this strange case of the beer epidemic, explore how herbs like hops were involved, and learn why science and a bit of humor keeps us sane. Let's set the stage. London in 1814 was a bustling city of over 1 million people. Water quality was, let's just say, questionable. Cholera and typhoid weren't uncommon, but beer was life. People drank beer more safely than water because the brewing process killed some pathogens. But out of nowhere, something went wrong. Certain batches of beer produced in well-known breweries were making people violently ill. Imagine walking into your favorite pub and seeing half the patrons clutching their heads or twitching on the floor. Not fun. And yet, this is how medical mysteries were born by mass, unplanned human experimentation. Now, if you think your local IPA sometimes hits a little too hard, imagine it with 1814-era brewing hygiene. Yikes. So where do herbs come in? Hops, the plant that gives beer its signature bitterness, was widely used. Hops contain compounds like humulin and lupulin, which have mild sedative and antimicrobial properties. Sounds helpful, right? Here's the catch. The hops themselves weren't inherently dangerous. The mystery was in the process. Brewing back then was inconsistent. Water contamination, wild yeast, and herbal additives, sometimes combined in weird ways, creating toxic byproducts along the way. And this is where folklore gets fun. People thought maybe the hops themselves were cursed, or that witches had sabotaged the beer. So suddenly, a simple plant becomes a suspect in a criminal investigation, or at least a very confused epidemiological study. Reports from the time described fever, vomiting, hallucinations, and some seizures. Modern scientists suspect that mycotoxins, poisons produced by fungi in contaminated grains, played a big role. Add in some wild yeast strains, and you've got a recipe for a very bad day at the pub. And yet, not everyone got sick. Some drank the same beer and were fine. So why the difference? Likely dose, individual susceptibility, and maybe luck. This is classic medical mystery territory. The same exposure, wildly different outcomes. It's almost like nature's version of a choose-your-own-adventure book, with higher stakes. Funny aside, imagine telling your 1814 doctor, I drank the same beer as Tom, but I hallucinated unicorns, and he just got a mild headache. They'd probably just nod sagely and prescribe more beer, of course. Fast forward to today. Hops are mostly safe and even used in herbal teas for sleep. Compounds in hops, like xanthahumol, are being studied for anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. And guess what? The sedative effect that caused people to feel relaxed in small amounts is real, but in large or contaminated doses. Well, 1814 teaches us that the line between a remedy and a hazard can be very razor thin. Modern breweries use controlled fermentation, clean water, and standardized hops extracts. So your IPA is unlikely to induce hallucinations, unless your imagination is really, really vivid. But that's a story for another episode. And yes, if you ever feel woozy after a craft beer, blame your weekend choices. Not the hops. Science has your back. So, what can we learn from the great London beer epidemic? Herbs are powerful, but context matters. Hops alone were safe. The combination with contaminated grains and water was the real culprit. History is full of medical mysteries, sometimes solved, sometimes not. Modern science, hygiene, and brewing standards keep us safe and make this story a little more fun than terrifying. And of course, humor helps. The idea that an innocent plant became the star of a citywide epidemic is both absurd and educational. It reminds us that medicine is as much about people, culture, and context as it is about chemistry. That's it for today's Rooted Remedies episode. If you enjoyed this strange and hilarious historical herbal mystery, hit subscribe, share it with your friends, and keep your drinks safe. Next time you sip a beer, give a little nod to 1814 London and its misadventures in brewing. Stay inquisitive, stay rooted, and I'll see you next time.